everyone. Welcome back to State of Sonder. Today I have my good friend Josh Kim on the podcast. He is the co-founder of Softies Burgers, which has been named one of the hottest burgers in Los Angeles. Welcome, Josh.
Hi, Debbie.
Hi. How are you? I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay, wait. So Josh is so sweet, and he brought an entire key lime pie, and I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
Or we're going to try it.
I said it's an apology in advance because this content will not be usable.
Yes,
so
it
at least I
will.
could make a pie.
Oh my gosh. Okay, before this, I could not stop laughing. So if my eyes look like teary, it's because I was crying laughing.
Okay, as you try the pie, can I explain why I think key lime pie is a great pie?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, it is sweet, it is tart, it is creamy. There's a good balance of all those flavors.
Is this a good, perfect bite?
I think that's a good bite. I like the ratio. May I try some? My stomach is growing.
You may.
Thank you.
Oh my god, it's so good. Oh my god, it's so good.
I'll do one more bite.
Wow, that is amazing. Thank you, PA.
Thank you, PA.
Wow, I have not laughed like that in a long time. We had to pause recording and restart a couple times because I couldn't stop laughing. Oh, we should probably eat the apple before we do this.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Wait, can I say something before we start?
Yeah, absolutely. You
Can I
say
be
whatever.
sincere for a second and then it'll be
Oh,
fun?
yeah.
Okay. I was thinking about when we first met, and I think it was a very precarious time in our lives.
Yes.
We were in our early 20s, maybe mid 20s, and to see you grow and become like a woman who, what I've always admired about you is like, you always want to be the best version of yourself. And to see you find joy in people or your community or even doing this podcast, I think is very cool and admirable.
Josh, now you're gonna make me cry because
I
I'm emotional.
It was important for me to say that because I haven't seen you in a bit. And
thank you so much.
from afar, I've been very happy to see you be happy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's so sweet. John was like my therapist. I mean, not Josh. Josh was my therapist
Okay.
for a while.
Let's talk more about John. Thought this was my episode.
Josh was like my therapist for a while. Like I remember sending you texts that were like full on essays.
And I would look at them and go,
No, you wouldn't. You would give me
Maybe
the
I'll get
best
to it later.
advice. You are so thoughtful and so deep, which I feel like a lot of people don't get because you joke a lot.
I do.
But you have so much depth, and I feel like you're very wise.
Thank you.
And you give great advice.
Thank you. That's all the time we have for today. So tune in on the next episode.
Okay.
Okay.
So how have you been? Because I haven't seen you in over a year, I feel like. Or
Yeah.
I did see you, but not in like very brief. So I didn't get to talk to you or catch up with you. So how have you been?
Yeah, I've been good. Life has been very busy. Trying to start a business. And I left my job. Well, actually, I got fired from my job. But
Did not know that.
it was a very like mutual firing. My
Okay.
boss was very nice about firing me so that I could get unemployment. He knew that I was starting this business. So that happened at the beginning of 2024. So it's been a little over a year since I've been full-time Softies.
Okay. So, okay. I don't know what to do about her.
That's okay.
Okay. So before this, like before Softies started, you were working in like food industry though,
Yeah.
because that was something that you always wanted to do.
Yeah, my background was tech in the food industry. So I spent a couple years at DoorDash and then at OpenTable, essentially doing sales, partnerships, helping restaurants perform better. And while I was in those meetings or visiting those restaurants, I always had this maybe arrogant feeling of like, I think I could do it. Or like, I think I could do it better. Because a lot of times they're telling you about the mistakes that they've made or the problems that they're having. So the entire time during these meetings, I would think about like, oh, well, I would do it differently or I would do it this way. So I think I always had the itch. And then when my partner Sam reached out, I think it made sense to give it a try and go for it.
Did you always know you wanted to work? Because like you always liked cooking and things like that, but did you always from a young age know you wanted to work in the food business?
Yeah, I could think of like two instances that I think led to this. My parents were pastors growing up, and my mom, as you do in Korean churches, would cook for our church members. They would come over, and I just always remember like images of her spending the entire day cooking, and there were always at least 10 dishes on the table, right? Like baked mussels, spicy tuna roll, like, I don't know, soba salad. And I remember thinking like, wow, she is giving so abundantly, right? Like not only her time, but also the literal money to cook all this food, which I know we didn't have much of growing up. So I think that was really attractive to me.
And she would have to like provide all of that on her own.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like we were hosting people. So I always carried that with me, and I liked the idea of cooking for people. And then I also remember growing up in her sandwich shops because she had to start a business to pay the bills while my dad was a pastor. So I grew up in the kitchen, going to Costco with her, going to restaurant supply stores with her, carrying, cases of Coke. So those are like my early childhood memories. So in a way, I think that probably stayed with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then for a while, I think it was either during COVID or right after COVID, your mom was doing sonmat with you, which was like a delivery service type thing. How did that come about?
Yeah. So that was when I was working in food tech. And during COVID, it was really because of my sisters. I have two older sisters. And it was hard for them to go out to buy food. Obviously, getting food delivered can be expensive. So I asked my mom, like, what if we had a meal set service where we essentially do like a HelloFresh or a Blue Apron, but with Korean food. And that was really my first, I think, foray into cooking for a living. We did that for a year. It did very well in Orange County. And then at the time that we should have expanded into a commercial kitchen, because we were doing everything very illegally at our home. I don't care. People can know. My mom and I basically got into an argument or like a disagreement about what we wanted this business to be. I think she was worried on my behalf of like getting into this industry because she had already done it. So we decided to stop that. And then I took a year just to work in tech before Softies started.
So what, if you don't mind me asking, like what was the disagreement? Like she didn't want you to be in the food space?
I think when you're mom and son and then you try to become business partners, there's a lot of tension there. My mom is so sweet. So there was a lot of, in Korean, it's called nunchi.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it in English. Kind of like
situational awareness.
Yeah. Trying to anticipate each other's thoughts or feelings, worrying about each other's feelings. So there was a lot of unspoken, I think we felt bad towards each other, but also tired physically.
Yeah.
It was a lot, right? We were cooking 100 full meal sets.
Jeez.
Just the two of us.
And was that weekly? That was weekly.
It was weekly.
Oh my gosh.
And my mom told me this later on, after we ended. We didn't talk for a little bit, but after we kind of mended things up, she said that she felt a lot of anxiety and she would like cry in bed the night before we have to start cooking. So I think it was just a lot of piled up fatigue and kind of conflicting emotions. So that was a big learning experience to know like it's not just about cooking. It's a very human experience to try to do it for a living.
I feel like also working with family is just family or friends is tough. But I mean, you're working with friends now, but I guess that's a little bit different. But I think with family, it's like, even when you're having like a bad day, you can just like, you're more prone to snapping or, so I feel like that is tough to do. Yeah.
The assumption that like my mom should understand everything that I'm thinking and using that as an excuse to not communicate professionally. A lot of these things I think contributed to it, but I look back on that now and it's still like my baby and the thing that I want to do eventually down the line if the opportunity comes. But I would say that's why the decision to do Softies was a lot easier. And I felt a lot less pressure to make burgers instead of
entire
Korean food
meals.
at home.
Okay, so let's talk softies.
Okay.
How did this come about?
Yeah, so after about a year of stopping Somat, I was working at Open Table, very stable job, bored out of my mind,
Okay.
to be honest. And Sam Hong, my partner, we had known each other through coffee peripherally for like 10 years, but we weren't really friends or, we hadn't spoken. But he reached out when I was doing Somat and he asked to grab coffee. He was interested in the business model and kind of how I was going about doing marketing and things like that. And then once it ended, he reached back out. And I'll never forget, it was a random text. He was like, "Hey, it's Sam. Do you have time for a phone call this week?" And I was like, "Sure." And he's a dad.
Okay.
So the time was 8 a.m. I was like, "Sure, I guess." So I woke up, barely awake. He calls me. I'm like, "Hey, Sam." He's like, "Hey, I have this idea for a business. Do you want to try?" I was like, "Okay, what is it?" He said he wants to do a pop-up, trying to make burgers. Or I think at the time we didn't even talk about burgers, but we just talked about doing something together. And the conversation was very casual, low risk, let's do it for fun, side cash. So in the morning, barely awake, I was like, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
But that's literally how it started, almost as a joke. And then this was back in 2022. So in August of 2022, we did one event thinking that we would just do it for friends and family, do it for fun. I think we prepped for like 100 burgers that day, but we ended up selling 300. Having to go to, I think, the Vons right next door to buy more beef and like buns. Towards the end, we were selling like weird patty melt things that weren't even burgers. And it was our first time cooking together. So it was just a massive shit show. And then after that event, every subsequent event, I would say for the next 3 months, was like, let's see if that was real. Or like, let's see if we could do it again. Or let's see if people will still come out. Or sometimes it was like, people definitely aren't going to come out. But they kept coming out. So I think that's probably when, like 3 months in, we thought, okay, what if we actually try to do this more frequently?
So the first one was that the Anaheim pop-up that we were talking about?
That was at Thank You Coffee Anaheim's grand opening.
Okay.
John of Thank You Coffee is a good friend of ours. And we messaged him. We were like, hey, like, we're starting this burger thing. Do you need a vendor? And he was nice enough to be like, yeah, just come. So we set up in front of this apartment building that Thank You Coffee is at. Also, I think very illegally. But yeah, and I remember setting up. We were starting at 5 o'clock. So we got there at 3 to set up. And again, it's our first time ever doing this. So we're just running around. And at 4:30, I look up from prepping, and there are like 20 people waiting in line. And these are not friends. These are people that I've never seen before, and Sam's never seen before. And I remember going up to Sam, poking him on the shoulder, and being like, who are these people? And then I went to them, and I was like, hi, why are you here? And they're like, oh, for softies. And I was like, the burger? They're like, yeah. And,
Wait, so... But you advertise how? Like just on Thank You Coffee's Instagram?
No, so to that point, I did start an Instagram, and I think because I like doing Instagram and like promoting things, we did do like a photo shoot of the burgers, did a backdrop, professional photos from my friend David, and we posted them and they got good engagement, but also we had 50 followers, 100 followers at the time. So in my brain, it was like, oh, we'll do 50 burgers max. So it was all very surprising. And I would say the first year of Softies almost felt like a joke, right? Like, let's push it a little bit and see if, people will still come. But it wasn't probably until at least 6 months to a year later that we were like, okay, we need to take this a little seriously and not just as a joke.
So were you still working full time while you were doing this? And then when did you kind of decide like, okay, I can, this is going to be it?
Yeah. So it was August 2022 through all of 2023. I was still working. So Softies was part-time. I would say we did an event every 2 or 3 weeks, which probably contributed to like the novelty of it. Right. So people were excited to come out and try this burger that apparently was just a side hustle for these two dudes. So I was working, but then towards the end of 2023, we did start stacking events and we started getting bigger events. So to work my full-time job remotely, pop out at 2-3 o'clock to go to Costco, to grocery shop, stuff everything in my apartment fridge, and then try to do prep on a Thursday night or Friday night, just started getting a little crazy. And then towards the end of 2023, we got an email asking if we wanted to join Smorgasburg, which is that market out at Row, downtown LA. And I think that was the moment that I knew that I had to make a decision to leave or keep it part-time. And for whatever reason, I just thought like, okay, this is probably a sign that I should go for it. I think the competitive nature as a guy came out of like, no, I want to prove that I can make this work. Especially after this whole nut thing that didn't work out. So it was a year and a half of doing it part-time before.
Yeah. And then, okay, so you're in Smorgasburg every Sunday. So what does your kind of week look like?
Yeah. It's funny because even now we probably do max 2 or 3 events a week. So my friends will joke about
2 to 3 events a week? Oh my gosh.
So we'll do like private events, catering.
Okay.
For companies or first birthday parties, things like that. So my friends always joke like, so what do you do the rest of the week? Which is very hurtful. But
I didn't mean it that way.
No. But yeah, my week, as of now, Mondays are my day off. And then Tuesday through Thursday, to supplement with side cash, I work at Cafe Dulce as a barista.
Wait, I did not know this.
Yeah. That was a few months ago that I started.
Okay, so you went back.
Because the cash was...
Wait, was it the USC one or... Oh, you're back there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Tuesday through Thursday, I work part-time. Friday to Sunday, I'm doing softies. Prepping, grocery shopping. We still do all that ourselves. So it's a lot of traveling and storing things and prepping out of a kitchen that we're borrowing. And then Sunday at Smorgasburg is a full day of service. So it's a 6 a.m. wake-up call. Oof. I get back home around 7 p.m. And then Monday is a rest day, but it's mainly a recovery day of like just trying to catch up on sleep.
Because it's like so labor intensive.
And then also responding to the emails that I've neglected or the texts from friends or, my mom's FaceTime calls that I've ignored. So it's a busy life. It's a lot of standing, a lot of manual labor.
Yeah.
But I think I still prefer it to the 4 Zoom meetings, the all hands meetings.
Yeah.
Where my mic is off and I'm like...
Is your camera off too?
Yeah, of course. Cooking lunch, it feels like I have something to do, which is nice. Yeah.
I think I've talked about this with friends, how I think when we were growing up, we had this mindset of structure of how to, create your success is like you go to, a good school and you do internships and you blah, 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 especially in like Asian American culture. But nowadays, I really see people pursuing their passions and like going after their curiosities, which I admire so much and I think is so cool. I am not I'm not a big risk taker. It takes a lot for me to take a risk, but this was kind of a risk for you. Yeah. Do you feel like you had this fear or was just like this knowing that, okay, this is for me?
Yeah, it's a good question. Growing up, I was very run-of-the-mill Asian American church boy, so my entire life was built around hitting these markers, right? So getting into a UC, graduating in 4 years, getting a job. And I remember clearly at age 20 or 21 being like, by age 25, I'm going to make this much money. By age 30, I'm going to make this much money. I'm going to get married at this age. Everything that we all know. But in 2018, when I was 24, it was the most pivotal moment of my life. I left church. And I think that was a really big moment of that image of life breaking, against my will. It's not like I wanted it to
Yeah.
break or I wanted to leave church. But when it did, I was forced to deal with the questions that came out of it. There's a book by Albert Camus that I really like that I'll quote. Basically, he says, I want to know nothing or everything. And I think what that means to me, or what that meant to me at the time, was when I was living the life that was prescribed to me, I didn't need to know anything. There weren't any questions to ask. I just needed to follow the markers and make sure that I was hitting every single one along the way. But once I left church, it felt like a dam that cracked. And then it just opened up all these questions about my life. Like, what is, the point of being a man? Like, what is it to be a Christian? All these questions kind of came up, and I spent those mid-20s years, I think, sifting through them and trying to answer them. And out of that came the realization that, oh, my life doesn't have to look like that.
Yeah.
And I can try things. And from 25 to 30, I made a promise on that birthday, on my 25th birthday, I'm going to give myself 5 years to try whatever the fuck I want. Doesn't matter whether I make less money or more money. Doesn't matter whether I'm dating. Doesn't matter whether people think that I'm mature or making the right decisions. Whether my friends are hitting those markers that I so badly wanted to. I'm going to ignore all that and just go for it. So there was fear for sure, but there was almost this arrogant rejection of that life that I thought I wanted. One, because it wasn't available to me anymore, but two, because I wanted to show myself that that wasn't the only way to live. So I think that allowed me to make otherwise stupid decisions and justify them in my head as rational or for the purpose of growing as a person. Yeah.
So do you feel like since these 5 years or so, you've come to kind of a conclusion in terms of how you feel? Because I can't believe it was 24, first of all, because that seems very long time ago.
Yeah.
But I also had a similar experience where I grew up in the church for a really long time. I was on praise team in high school, obsessed with church.
Were you?
I played keyboard really badly. Let's not talk about it.
Oh, wow.
But then we went to church together, and then when COVID happened, we were doing home church, and then I just stopped going.
Yeah.
And it was then where I realized I don't know that I believe what I believe because I truly believe it, or if I believe it because it was taught to me and I came to believe that to be true.
Sure.
And I think even now, faith is a weird thing for me because I'm just I'm not really, I don't know what I truly believe. So I'm kind of all about manifestation and the universe and things like that. But for you, since you've had this time away, going away from something that you knew for your whole life, how has that impacted you, and kind of where are you now, I guess?
I would say the first couple years of leaving church were a lot of anger, bitterness, right? Essentially throwing a fit that this community that I invested so much into, they also invested into me, was taken away, or I left, but it felt like that, like a bad breakup. So I was just trying to make excuses of why I was drinking a lot or smoking a lot, justifying those immature behaviors as oh, I'm just finding myself. And then I think as I got into my late 20s, I started to think about why am I struggling so much without that community? Right? So the one that I rejected, why am I craving those things? And I think that helped me to heal a lot of the pain that I felt in leaving church. In the sense that it didn't matter to me as much whether God was real or whether I believed in religion or all these things. It got really stripped down to the basic feelings of everyone just wants to be loved. Everyone just wants to be acknowledged or seen. So in that sense, it didn't matter church or no church, Christianity or no Christianity. And then I think how it ties back to the work I do now is as long as you find a way to love people or feel loved or feel fulfilled, that is worthwhile.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of the work that I do now is centered around this idea of like, how do I make sure that I don't stray too far from that center of like wanting to love people, and how do I extricate that from church so that it is not just in a box where I am just doing that at church and then living kind of rather foolishly. How do I make that a all-encompassing thing in my life? Yeah.
You are so like self-aware, and just I feel like you, even when I've known you all these years as a friend, you really take that time and space to iron out whatever is happening within yourself, which I think is so amazing, because I feel like a lot of people don't do that. But
Thank you.
knowing you, like, you would not know all of this complexity that is happening in your mind.
Yeah.
But you really try to be better. Like you said about me, it's like you take that time to dissect everything and have discernment, which I feel is very, very cool.
Thank you. I was talking about this with a friend the other day about like what it means to be a man, right? And I think growing up, my father figure was not very macho, right? He was very feely and sensitive. He's a very soft man. Like if you meet him, he's a little teddy bear. So I think I always knew in my heart, like, I don't want to be a guy who is just tough on the outside and then like acts very masculine. And part of that was taking really seriously the mistakes that I make, or being self-aware about the things that I need to improve on. And yeah, I've taken that pretty seriously and tried to be very sincere and vulnerable, even if it puts my image or my reputation as a man on the line. And I feel really kind of self-confident in that, of like, yeah, I'm not what you would describe as a man, right? Like if you
I disagree.
It's because I've been working out. I just want to be very genuine and sincere. And that is a very scary thing to do, I think.
It's vulnerable.
In life. But I've grown the most by trying to be that. So I'm committed to doing that, whether it's in work or, in friendships or even in my faith. Like we're talking about.
I think that's a different level of confidence, honestly. And to be able to show that, like you said, is scary. It's a very vulnerable place. But I do think that's a beautiful thing if you can get there, which a lot of people can't.
Yeah.
And I always say this to you, but I think your family is the coolest family. Like truly, it's like I want to be adopted. But we
don't have space. Sorry.
But you grew up with two sisters.
Yeah.
And you guys are all so, so, so close. And obviously your sisters are married and to amazing people.
Yeah.
But do you feel like being around your sisters and growing up with them and being the youngest, that really influenced, because you have a lot of emotional intelligence. Do you think that's just in you, or that was something kind of learned in how you were raised?
Maybe a little bit of both. I think the blood of my father. That sounds so dramatic. The blood of my father is in me.
Yeah.
My mom's also very sensitive.
Yeah.
She's the most gracious, patient person I've ever met. So it was already in me. And then I think growing up in a church, essentially as a pastor's kid, there's so much shit about pastor's kids. I hate the narrative of like, they either become fuck ups or they become really good kids. It's not like that. To me, what being a pastor's kid was seeing with my own eyes, my parents try their hardest to love people. And that has always stuck with me, the pain of that not being acknowledged, or the joy of being able to love people and seeing them feel that. So I think from an early age, I was very in tune with how people were feeling, how I was feeling, to a fault. I cried a lot as a kid, even now.
Crying is okay.
I cried on the way here.
Did you really?
At the thought of seeing you.
Oh my God.
I didn't. But yeah, I think my family probably helped me to become this sensitive man that I am.
What's your sign?
My sign?
Your like zodiac sign.
I'm April 10th. I think I'm an Aries.
What?
Yeah. I know that's like fire,
That
right?
just like destroyed everything I know about zodiac
But I
signs.
think I act more Taurus.
Are you on the cusp?
I don't know.
Oh.
But aren't you
April
allowed
10th?
to decide
Wait,
your sign?
Wait, Maudie, is April 10th the cusp? Actually, that's not a cusp.
I think that I can use signs however I want to use them.
Yeah.
So I'm
absolutely.
a Taurus.
You're a Taurus. You
Yeah.
actually fit more Taurus than Aries.
Thank you.
Because it's not the cusp. You're just a true Aries.
No,
Huh.
it's the cusp.
It's whatever he said.
We'll
Okay.
fix that in post. I'm a Taurus.
Oh, I cannot have another laugh attack. Like, it
Sorry.
cannot have it. Okay, how did the name Softies come to be?
Yeah.
Is it because you're a softie?
It really is.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you make the name?
No. My friend Steven Yunchik, who you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
we were workshopping name ideas. They were the worst burger name ideas ever. It was like, embarrassed to even say it on camera. I'll say it, whatever. I had a poll on Instagram, and one of them was "say less," which I still have the burner account
Oh, my God.
of "say less." Like, it's still logged in, so I see it sometimes. I'm like, that would have been horrible. One of them was "smoosh burger."
That's not bad.
Because like a smash burger, but we wanted it was so bad.
Smooshy.
Yeah, it was like, oh, like that's cute, but I would wake up in the morning and be like, this is a horrible name. And then one time we were, I think, cooking at Yunchik's house for like a R&D to like see if the burgers are good. And we were talking about like, dude, we don't know what to name it, and we were using Martin's potato rolls, which are the Shake Shack buns. If you've ever tried them, they're very soft, they're very pillowy. And then Yunchik was like, well, the buns are soft. He's like, you and Sam are soft. Like mama's boys. It should be softies. And I cracked up and I was like, I love that.
Oh.
And then Sam was a little more hesitant, like, I don't know about that name. But I thought it was perfect because it didn't immediately indicate that we're burgers. And I kind of liked that like surprise factor. So I did a poll and then people overwhelmingly chose softies.
That's such a good name.
Yeah.
And the branding is...
Thank you. That's all Yunchik, by the way. Yunchik and
Yunchik
my
is
friend
so
David.
talented.
He does all the photos and videos, so I can't take credit for that. But yeah, the name Softies is cool. Like, it's cool to see people say that word so much because it is a very, I don't know, a word that people wouldn't typically use, or especially men wouldn't typically use.
Yeah.
So I think to be like, oh, let's go to Softies. And once you hear it once, I think you don't forget it. You know that there's a burger spot named Softies, so I like that.
I love hearing about how brands come to be because I think names, branding, like logo, that stuff is the hardest thing.
It is.
Even this name, State of Sonder, for me, it didn't come to me until like a year later.
Yeah.
And for that entire year, I don't even remember names that I thought of, but it just like, it wasn't landing for me.
Yeah.
That is the hardest part. So I always love hearing about how.
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
I had to look up what Sonder means.
I said it. I say it in the first episode. Thanks for watching.
No, I probably was busy during that.
Oh, yeah.
part.
Yeah, no
I was
worries
listening in the
about
car, but
No,
there's traffic.
A lot of people don't actually.
Yeah.
I
still don't really know.
So
what it
I
means.
learned of the word like a decade ago from Sun.
Wow.
Yeah, Sun.
Flex, weird flex.
Sun.
I've known what Sonder has meant since I was 22. Okay.
So Sun told me about it, right? Okay. Oh gosh, you're gonna make me laugh again. But Sun told me about it, and when she told me, I was like, oh my gosh, that's such a beautiful word. It's like the realization that everyone and anyone you come across in your life has this life that is just as complex as your own and real as your own. So you could think of it kind of like in your life, you're the main character, right? And it's like your movie. But every single person that you come across, whether you interact with them or not, they're like an extra in your movie. But
then they are also the main character.
Yeah, they're in their
movie.
own movie, and you were an extra in theirs.
I don't like that.
Why?
I think I'm the main character all the time. Yeah, in everyone's.
But when I thought about it that way, I was like, it makes me more open-minded and aware of people that I come across. And I think I am a person who just really loves human connection, and I feel like I love to like get deep with people and talk about their story. So it just kind of made sense.
I like that a lot.
So that just like registered in me for the name.
Yeah.
But
That relates a lot to like softies too. I think we talk about a team, like how do we not treat a customer just as a customer, right? And how do we try to get to know them or ask them a simple question of like, oh, how's your day? Or like, oh, I like your hat. Or like try to make a connection, because the fact that they have driven and parked and walked over to our booth to have food, whether they intended to or not, that means a lot, right? And for the rest of their lives, they have tried softies once in their lives, and I've served them once in my life. So I'm going to rename it Sonderburger. If that's okay. I'll use your logo.
Should we do a collab? I don't know how that would work, actually.
No thanks. I'm kidding.
Oh my god, I'm gonna cry.
I'm kidding. When you get bought out by Spotify,
oh my goodness,
and we do that launch party, we'll make some burgers.
Amazing. Yeah. Okay, so Softies is going into a restaurant, which is crazy, and congratulations. That's big. So, how did that come about, and when is this happening?
Yeah, on the theme of Softies being a long running joke or prank, one of the main things that Sam and I promised when we started on that phone call, verbatim, was we're never going to open a restaurant. And part of that was understanding how hard it is to operate a restaurant. Restaurants, for people who don't know, have the worst like fatality rate. I think the stat is like 80% of restaurants fail within their first 3 years. So it's a very like suicidal mission to try to open a restaurant. So understanding that we were like, we're never going to do this, we'll make side cash and we'll cook outside. And if it supplements my car payment, or for Sam, like his kids' diapers, that's more than enough for us. But over time, as we start to do more events, bigger events, get into Smorgasburg, naturally that thought kind of came into our head. And what's funny is I never wanted to open a restaurant because I needed to. I always wanted to do it out of like pure passion or joy, or like, this is my purpose.
Yeah.
But it isn't like that. I'm realizing passion. It kind of became like, we have to open this restaurant, mainly because we wanted to stop doing the pop-ups, which are very labor intensive. We're basically loading and unloading a restaurant into a parking lot and then having to take dishes to a kitchen. Like, it's a lot of moving around. So at a certain point, it was like, we just want a space that we can walk in, turn on the lights, turn on the griddles, and just go. So part of it is wanting to escape the life that we live right now. Another part of it, though, I think, is at this point, we've invested so much of our time and energy, our physical and mental energy, and it would be a shame to not try. And I think it kind of ties back to my 25 to 30-year-old promise of trying stuff out. I don't want to be that guy who's just all talk. I'd rather do it. If it fails, fine, it'll hurt, but at least I can say I opened a restaurant, versus what most people say of, I've been thinking of starting a podcast. I've been thinking of opening a coffee shop. I would love to have a cafe one day. It's like, let me just do it. And then if I live to tell the tale, hopefully it's a good one. But that's how the restaurant came to be.
You're so cool, Josh. You don't know how to
take 5.
You don't know how to take compliments. No, but honestly, you are so cool, because that's very like bold, and it can be scary. But I agree. I think that is kind of the natural next step after you've been doing this for a while. Would you still do Smorgasburg, or?
Yeah, that's a question that I think we'll have to answer when the time comes. It is great marketing. Some of our biggest catering events or connections that we've made, collabs that we've done, have been because Smorgasburg is this big billboard for pop-ups like us, right? It's basically like the sounding board where food editors come, or chefs come to try food. So we can't ignore how impactful it's been to our business. We also can't ignore, like I said, the 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. days. So we'll see. I think it's good marketing, but I think we should probably focus on one thing at a time rather than stretching ourselves too thin.
So do you have a location already now?
By the time this comes out, hopefully we're renovating, but we have found a space. We're signing a lease next week if we're lucky, or maybe in the next couple weeks.
Can you share what area it is?
I can share that it's kind of downtown-ish.
Okay.
It's in an existing like shopping area.
Okay.
And it's a second generation space, meaning it's a spot where a burger spot used to exist. So we're taking over that spot. It has all the equipment. We just have to do cosmetic renovations, which saves a lot of money and time. Because building a space out from the ground up would be like $400,000.
Yeah.
And that's money that I've never seen in my life, and money that I don't want to ask for from a bank or from investors. So we're doing it the kind of fast track way, but kind of the theme of Softies has always been like, just try.
Yeah.
Like, just do it. A big cheesy quote that my team hates when I say it is, done is better than perfect. And I really believe that.
That's a good quote.
Yeah. You dream up and you mood board and you Pinterest board all these perfect ideas, and then you're so tired or scared to do them that you never end up doing it. So it's like, might as well just open a restaurant. Doesn't matter if it's not the dream area or the dream neighborhood or the dream decor. Yeah. Let's just get one open.
Yeah.
And then hopefully, it's kind of like buying a home. Like, your first home is never your dream home. If the third, fourth, fifth location of Softies.
Not if, when.
When it's the dream location and everything I imagined when I was 22 wanting a restaurant. If that fifth one is the one, then I'll be thankful that we did the first one the way that we did.
How did you build your team out?
Yeah, that is the one good thing I've done as a founder, a co-founder of a business, is putting a good team together. It was purely by luck. We had friends who, for the first year, it's just like texting our community and being like, yo, can you come cook burgers for 3 hours outside? We'll pay you. And a lot of times there's like, yeah, like, I think they almost did it out of some sort of pity. Like, yeah, we'll help. Like, these poor dudes trying to do a burger business. And then they stuck around, I think, because it was fun. I think anyone who works in coffee or food, later down the line, they think that was the funnest job I had, or the most fun job I've had. There's a weird, addicting quality to cooking, or like a fast-paced environment. So they all stuck around, and then we really had to build a team when we started Smorgasburg, because that's every Sunday. We didn't want the same team every single week because we knew they'd get burnt out. So we put together a team of like 15, 20 people who could rotate. They're all friends of friends, or some people kind of came out of nowhere, but we were really adamant that it didn't matter whether they knew how to cook or not. I could teach that very quickly, very easily, but you cannot teach how to be nice. And you can't teach how to have nunchi, or to be gentle or considerate, or give people the benefit of the doubt, or take care of your teammates. Like, these are qualities that I think you're just born with. Like, being
unfortunately.
being a decent human. So I'm really proud and really fulfilled to see our team be that way. Yeah. And be that way to our customers, be that way to each other, and to see them now be friends outside of Softies, to grab dinner on their own, or to text me being like, hey, we should do a birthday thing for them. That's been really cool. And I think the team has been the thing that has made me cry the most, is just being like, man, I love them so much and they mean so much to me.
My heart.
Yeah, they don't know how much I cherish them, and I probably don't express it enough.
I hope they hear this so they know and they get warm and smushy.
Anytime they know that I'm going to be talking for more than 30 seconds, they just kind of tune out and they say,
God, please.
Maybe next time. But
no, that's awesome. And I feel like you've always kind of been a community type person. So Josh and I worked at a coffee shop together, Dulce, where you are right now.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I was there part-time for a little bit.
Yeah.
I was the cash register girl because I could never make the coffees.
You never got promoted to
I
Steaming
did
milk?
once on a Saturday, and I didn't want to do it anymore.
It's a lot.
It's
a lot.
I haven't felt that kind of anxiety in a really long time.
And probably since.
Yeah, probably since. But you were always really good. But you even at Dulce, you built a community there.
Yeah.
And you hung out with them like outside of work and things like that. So I feel like that's just something that's always been very important to you.
Yeah. Being a boss is weird. I think I'm the most unqualified to be a boss. But the one thing I think I do well is I make fun of myself. And I think
you do.
Yeah. I think I'm willing to be the butt of the joke to make people comfortable. So I'm always talking about how, I'm the worst cook on the team, or I'm complaining about how tired I am, and like being a baby to them, and they get really annoyed. But to be serious, I think Sam and I, where we're very similar, is we take that role really seriously, and we don't see it as we're the boss, they're the employees. We're really big on leading from behind. So I will never make our team do work that I wouldn't do myself. A good example of that is like dishes. I am so stubborn about being the one to do dishes after service. Our team will always ask, hey, can we come help? I'm like, no. And that's a lesson from my mom of like, you can never be too good to do dishes or to scrub the floor or to just basically do the dirty work.
We had to clean toilets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. At Dulce, they always say like the way you can tell a good restaurant is by how clean the bathrooms are. And I really like that idea of like, do the dirty work and then you'll earn the respect rather than having to demand it. So I would like to believe our team culture is like that, where they see Sam and Josh working the hardest, so they want to pick each other up and pick us up.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to see that. Yeah.
You're so cool, Josh. I have to say it again.
As I'm talking, I'm realizing, you say
it. I am cool.
I'm looking to camera. Where's the B camera? I am cool.
Wait, I didn't even do what I do at the beginning of the episode.
What is that?
Which is a peek and pit. So
a peek and pit? It's so invasive. What are you peeking into? You're peeking into my pit?
No.
What is this?
Okay.
What is this podcast?
Also, you know what's so strange? Every time I podcast, my nose gets runny. It's like a tick.
I didn't mean to make you cry.
No, I know, but it's okay. So whenever I see the girls and we get together, because we don't get to very often, we do a peek and pick.
A pickled peek. A peek and poop.
A peek of the week and a pit of the week. But then we do.
Oh, a peek.
Yeah.
A P-E-A-K. Okay, I thought it was P-E-E-K.
Oh no, peek. But we start with the pit of the week because we want to end on a high note.
Why don't we just call it high and low?
Because it's better if it's peek and pit.
Peek and pit.
So pit of the week.
I will go along with peek and pit.
Okay.
Would you like me to do one?
Well, yeah.
Of this week?
Yes.
Of this week? Lots of pits.
Oh man.
Lots of pits. I'm kidding. My peak was...
no, you have to do pit.
Pit first and then peak.
So we end on the high note.
It's all very confusing. It should be pit and peak then, not peak and pit.
You're right.
There's an order to...
Okay.
We'll save that for another day.
Okay,
my pit was... Not to be like self-pitying, but it's very tiring running a food business. I do not recommend it. It is physically very demanding. I'm standing a lot, and my hands are all dry and ugly, and my legs are swollen all the time. So waking up this week and really feeling my age and feeling my body start to be like, bro, like, you gotta chill. That's a pit.
Yeah.
It's sad. I think when you're 20 something, you can, like, I used to drink heavily and then wake up the next morning, run 5 miles. I would do hit and run our workout classes hungover, but I can't do that anymore. So like quitting drinking.
But you didn't really get hangovers for a time.
Yes.
Because when we were working at Dulce, we'd close and then you would go out and then you'd be back the next morning.
Don't reveal this.
Oh, totally
kidding.
fine.
Yeah.
And I'm like on my deathbed.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I don't get hangovers.
Yeah.
They come, huh? They do come later.
Oh, do they come? 2-day hangovers, 3-day
Yeah,
hangovers.
it's bad.
Yeah, so that's the pit, is realizing my body isn't the same. Granted, I'm still young. We still have a few years left of pushing, but it makes me sad when I wake up and I'm like stumbling to the restroom. And then my peak is being on State of Sonder.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What an honor.
And soon to be, a Sonder burger. Seeing you is a peak. There was a message that my mom and I kind of exchanged recently through text. It was her birthday recently. And just reading my mom kind of affirm that, even though I'm so doubtful of what I'm doing right now and questioning whether this is the right move, her supporting me and her just saying, like, I'm good. Don't worry about me and Dad. Like, just go for it. That was a peak. And I don't want my mom to know this, but I've been reading that text like every few days just to make sure that
Did you cry?
Oh, I cried like a baby.
Oh, Josh, that's going to make me cry.
In the parking lot before I had to do dishes, I responded to her text and I was like, I love you so much. And I hope you know that I'm doing this because of you. Like, you have been the backdrop of all this food stuff that I'm trying to do. And I just want to love people. I think I said like 10% of the way that you've loved us. And she responded back a really sweet text in Korean, which I didn't understand most of it, but the gist of it was like sweet. So I was like, oh, and then I started crying.
Oh my God, I'm emotional. I think when parents do that, I don't know how your relationship is with your parents, but with my parents, we joke a lot.
Yeah.
So we don't really like getting all like smushy all the time, but when they do, it's so warming and sweet.
Yeah.
And recently, my brother was up with my parents and they were talking, and my brother came back down, we got lunch, and he told me how both my parents were kind of like, if you just like hate what you do and you wanted to quit and you just want to come live with us, that's fine. Like, as long as you're happy. And I didn't hear it directly, but even hearing that, it got me really emotional because I was like, oh, my whole life for 32 years, I had this feeling of burden and weight on me that if I don't make it or if I don't do it this way or this path, I'm a failure or I'm a disappointment. But I think even them, as they get older and they've lived so much life, they're just like, I just want my kids to be happy. And that's the ultimate. Yeah.
The unconditional love, I think, hits me the older I get. Like, truly unconditional. There are no strings attached to it. To your point, I think growing up as a dude, you're like, I got to take care of my parents. My friends have, bought cars for their parents. And I just felt like a failure. Once I started like making less money doing softies, I am so poor, trying to run this business. So I told my mom one time, I think I was like, I just feel so ashamed that you guys made all these sacrifices and I'm not delivering on that by being ultra successful financially. I have felt so burdened at the fact that my chasing a dream is directly related to my inability to take care of my parents, right? Because I am pursuing this thing that makes a lot less money than I used to make. When I was living that life, I was sending them cash, I was paying for a mortgage, all these things, but now I can barely take care of myself financially. If anything, my mom on my birthday sent me like a lot of cash, which I didn't want to admit, but like I needed. So it's flipped and I feel really guilty. And I told my mom once, like, I've thought about it, and yes, we are taught to want to honor you by making a lot of money, retiring you, buying you a home, all these things. But I hope, Mom, that you see me going for it as my way of honoring you. What if you came here, made all these sacrifices, and I just work a job that I hate for the sake of making a lot of money and feel unfulfilled? In a way, me pursuing a passion is something that they weren't afforded the luxury of trying, right? My mom had to do a sandwich shop to make money. She didn't care about sandwiches. My dad had to pull cleaning shifts at a car dealership. So in a way, maybe I'm rationalizing to make myself feel better about this all, but I think that pursuing something that you truly love, if it works out or when it works out, hopefully my parents can be proud of that. he didn't waste the opportunities that he had.
I think that is actually something parents would end up being more proud of.
Yeah.
Is chasing your dream and, you know, taking all the risk and taking all the fear and just trusting yourself and betting on yourself. I think that's the best thing that you can do. And, you know, the immediate is not roses and butterflies, but I really think with your work ethic and your heart and how you think about the business, it's going to excel. Like, I really believe that.
Thank you. Yeah.
So it's just right now is the growing pains.
Yeah. Yeah. All they want is for us to be happy.
Yeah.
You know, and the dissonance between like money, we all know money doesn't do anything for us. It allows us to pay rent, but it's so weird, like the understanding that money doesn't buy happiness, but then our insistence on money has always been really confusing to me. So, the more I go into it, the less I care about money, and the more I'm caring about, how do I honor my parents through the work that I do.
I think I was just talking to Bunny, you know, one of my best friends, Sharon.
Yes.
So I was just talking to her this morning about how I'm not like, I don't really care that much about material things. So I always correlated money with that.
Yeah.
I think when I think about money, it's the freedom to be able to do what it is that you want freely, right? Without having to have concern. And I think it doesn't buy happiness, but I think that's what it does for you. It just gives you a little bit of freedom to keep growing, to keep building, to keep pursuing whatever it is that brings you joy.
Yeah.
And I do feel like when you put all your energy and your heart into something, you don't want it to fail. So you really give it your all, and that carries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the hope, is that the money is a byproduct.
Yeah.
Versus the goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Don't you feel that when I have never done my own business because that's very scary to me. But when you have something that's your own, it's a mental switch. It's like, this is mine. And if it takes off or it doesn't is all up to me kind of thing. So versus a company, because company, you're kind of like,
you just collect
steady. Yeah. And then you just leave.
Yes. And it's very tempting to chase the money, to chase the catering gigs, to chase, you know, the corporate ones that will pay a lot of money and pay good day rates. But it's really important to me doing softies to keep the why as the North Star versus the what. The what being hopefully financial success later down the line. But if I chase the what without remembering the why, people are smart enough as consumers to see through that. And I don't want to become just another chain or kind of this place that has no soul or spirit behind it. So for me, understanding the why, which is to love people through food and to serve people and to be hospitable as a person and as a business, that has to be the first thing. And I think that if we do that well, people will pick up on that. Yeah. People don't care about burgers, but they care about stories that remind them of their own. So I think the more that I can convey that through burgers, the money will come. But even if it doesn't, whatever. As long as I could live in Chinatown and buy a sweater here and there from Stussy, like, I'm sure. Like, I don't need much.
Okay, so this year, what are you hoping for? Not just in business, but just in life. Big question.
Yeah. I hope to open a restaurant unscathed. I hope to still get some sleep and take care of my body and take care of my friendships and family, which I've not been very good at, but I hope to kind of find a good balance and like some sort of stability in my life, even in the midst of what's going to be a crazy time. I would love for the restaurant to do well, you know, sell a lot of burgers and make a lot of friends who are guests and build a new team that is the same as the one that we've built culturally. I'm turning 31 very soon.
Oh my gosh, we've known each other for a long time.
Yeah, I've really kind of put the whole dating relationship thing, getting married, starting a family on the back burner. Yeah. But I think I'm the first man to have baby fever. You know, and I'm the first man to have ovaries that are, what do you call it? Like stimulated. Every time I see a kid these days, I'm like, man, I just want to be a dad.
Oh, Josh.
So maybe, once we can find some sort of balance, I will dabble in.
So that has just been a non-existent thing.
It's been, but every time I've thought that I want to be ready, I have proven to myself that I am not, and I've just always wanted to not waste people's time. So I would just end things.
What do you mean by ready? Like,
the classic question. Am I ready to date? No one's ever ready. You just got to go for it, which is all true. I think it's, if you open my brain and look at where my brain bandwidth goes to, 95% of it is how do we make more burgers more quickly, more deliciously. 3% is how do I love my friends and my family. And then there's like 2% there's like, what about love? It's like always kind of in the background. But whenever I've tried to date, I think I will give it my all and I will be very sincere and make time and all these things. But it kind of just reverts back to like
burgers.
Yeah. How sad is that?
But honestly, you're such a lover boy. And I feel
no.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, I am.
So
Yeah.
But I get it. Honestly, starting a business and these past couple years, I can't even imagine how insane it's been. So it's really hard to have that capacity for anything else. But I do think when things start to settle down a little bit, you'll feel ready.
Can I be very vulnerable for a second?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Please.
Everyone will say, "Oh man, this is so cool what you're doing." Like, wow, I really admire that you're starting a business. But me seeing from my purview what the business is, which is a lot of, like I said, manual labor, a lot of like dirty, grungy work, it is not cool at all. And I think that relates to how I perceive myself in dating. Because I'm like, what kind of woman would look at a 30-year-old cooking outside and think, wow, I want to have his babies. Or I want to marry that man.
Oh, you are so hard on yourself, Josh.
But it's just, I understand that that's not how people feel. But it is hard for me to get over the embarrassment of like, I run a burger shop. It's not like I run a SaaS company or like
you should
have a podcast.
Put your chest out and be proud. Because honestly,
I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna look into the camera. I am proud.
The reason is, so I talk about this book way too much, but it's called Ask and It Is Given, and it literally changed my life.
Okay.
And it talks a lot about how your thoughts hold power and how you bring in certain energy that your thoughts are constantly thinking about. Yeah. And if you think about it that way, one, you're going to attract people who might feel that way.
That's what it was. That's why they're not attracted.
Or like,
it's my thoughts.
Or two,
I thought it was my face.
No, stop it. Or two, you kind of enter into a situation with the intent already to almost self-sabotage.
Oh, that is like my life summed up in 6 words. Self-sabotage and negative self-talk.
But I don't think that at all. I know what you mean though, because I think a lot of times you're your harshest critic.
Yeah.
And knowing you as a friend, you are very hard on yourself. But from outside, I do think what you're doing is very admirable and not a lot of people can do it. And I think it started off just as this like fun thought. Mm-hmm. But for you to be able to build it to what it is, I think when you look back on this journey, it's something to be so proud of and celebrated.
Thank you.
So let's rewire those thoughts.
All right. Ask and it shall, what is it? Ask and it shall be given?
Ask and it is given.
Ask and it is given.
By Esther Hicks, I think. I think it's her and her husband or something.
Okay. I'm asking to be a father.
You will be.
Within 2 years. So.
You will be.
Doesn't give me a lot of time.
You will be. Ask and it is given.
Ask and it is given.
It'll be given. Your family has a lot of children in the family.
Great segue. Many children. I have 5 nibblings, which is the formal term for nieces and nephews. I am an uncle of 5. They're the cutest things to ever walk this earth.
They're so cute.
They're also shitheads sometimes. And being an uncle is great because I can pop in, feel out the vibe, and in 5 minutes, if it feels like they're like running around and I'm going to get like trampled, I just leave.
Wait, how old is Kaylin now?
Kaylin is now 7.
Oh my god.
She's my first and only niece. The other kids, I
Oh
think,
my
are
gosh,
like,
for only girl.
yeah, yeah. The rest are boys. Very high energy. I think their ages are like 5, 4, 3, 2.
Oh my
in that order.
gosh.
Yeah. So
Oh, they're so cute.
They're really cute.
I love watching your
Yeah.
siblings Insta stories. I just stalk them. That's not weird.
no, people always think Jenny and I are dating. I'm gonna put this on the record, by the way. My oldest sister, who is 37,
Jenny looks fantastic.
she looks good. She looks good for 37. But people always think that we're dating. God forbid I post an Instagram story of us. Everyone's like, "Who's the girl? Who's the girl?"
Do they not know that you have sisters? Aren't they like friends?
They do, but I think they don't make the association. And I think I've been single for so long that anytime there's a woman,
They're
on
like,
my-
zoom in.
they're like, "This is new." So I just want to clarify. That's my sister, 6 years older. Yeah, we're not dating.
Josh's sisters are gorgeous.
They are very pretty.
Yes.
I will say that.
And your entire family has the voice of angels.
Singing. Mm-hmm. Yes. Are you asking me to sing?
I wanted to, but
do
I didn't
it.
think you would.
No, I'm not going to do it.
Josh is an incredible singer.
No.
So good. And your sisters are amazing. Your parents are amazing. Like,
Yeah.
how are you so blessed?
I'm very blessed as the youngest kid in the family. I'm very spoiled, but I think I have a few more years that I can milk that before it starts to get annoying.
You should post your singing on TikTok.
On TikTok?
Yeah.
I don't own TikTok, or I don't have it on my phone.
That's a good thing, honestly.
Yeah.
I doom scroll.
Do
way
you
too
think
much.
that will make me money?
I think it could.
Should I give up the whole burger thing?
No. I think you should do it as
Like a side
a
hustle?
side thing.
It's like selling feet pics on OnlyFans. I'll just post some
I'm not above it. My feet are really pretty.
I'm so below it. I'll do anything at this point.
No, but I think you should do TikTok.
I was thinking about it. I definitely think we should post our like videos for softies on TikTok.
Yeah.
But I literally just forget. I
You can't
forget
forget.
that medium exists.
You need to have a person who does that. But I meant
Do
your.
you have free time?
I could, but I meant your personal account, like Josh Kim,
Oh, I see.
and then you do like singing
Singing
and
videos.
playing guitar.
I see.
Yeah,
Perhaps.
Yeah.
I'll do it. Yeah.
I love that. Okay, I feel like we've been going forever, and I want to do some questions.
Okay. Is this Peek and Pit again?
Okay, so do you have a favorite burger?
Yeah. My favorite fast food burger is Shake Shack or Five Guys.
No. Like
What?
of your
Oh my
burger. You're like, fuck softies.
Yeah, I think one of our specials. So we always try to do an Asian-inspired special rotating burger. One that we really love is a shrimp burger. It's like kampung seu vibes,
Oh,
honey
damn.
walnut shrimp vibes. That one is a favorite of ours. I think of the two that we have, our classic Cali burger. We put like roasted garlic and caramelized onions into the sauce. So it just adds a little more like body.
Dude, my
As you would
mouth
say.
is watering.
Yeah, it's a good burger.
Oh, is you okay? She threw up on my leg. We had a cut. Go to auntie. Go to auntie. Go to auntie. Mimi, come here. Okay. How do you think of these menu items?
It's all story based. So it's all like stuff that we grew up eating.
Okay.
And we want to put it in burger form. Burgers are a fun like canvas in that regard, like pizza too. You just put things on it and see if it tastes good. So it's a nice challenge of like, oh, maybe we should put shrimp on a burger, or maybe we should, I don't know, try, putting a tempura mushroom on it and put some yuzu mayo on it and see if it tastes good, because we
Damn.
grew up going to sushi restaurants. So
I'm hungry.
yeah, we don't want to try too hard and like be tacky. People see right through that when like you try too hard on a dish. So
But has one how do I say this? Has a concoction you made not landed?
most of them don't.
Oh.
Yeah. The team will know this. I had this grand idea. Oh, it's a meatball burger. So I made like a Italian meatball patty.
But that's like a meatball sub.
Yeah, and then I made like a spicy vodka sauce, and I smashed the patty down and put like mozz on it. And in my head, I was like, "This is gonna be delicious." And then we tried it, and Sean, he's so nice, bless his heart. He looked at it, he tried it, he was like, he like gave a fake smile. I was like, "You hate it." He was like, "Yeah, not your best." So most of our ideas don't hit, but then it's like songwriting or anything. Like every once in a while, you have like everything lines up. And
Do you still like to eat burgers?
yeah, actually, every week I crave one.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I'll always take a bite out of one before service to make sure it's not bad.
I guess burgers are kind of a thing you never really get sick of. Like
Kind of.
I randomly crave burgers all the time.
Yeah, I'll crave In-N-Out here and there. I'll crave McDonald's. What I can't look at is raw beef now. I can't look at like raw ground beef.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't cook that.
I would
and
be
you're
like Minnie. I would throw up on your sweatpants.
Oh my gosh, I feel like I could go on forever, but okay, the camera's almost out of battery. Okay, so I'm going to ask you some questions to end, even though I've asked so many questions already.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be rapid fire, but they're not really.
Okay.
Because I saw these questions on Instagram and I thought they were great, so I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
Is
The preface is I told Debbie I wanted a question that would, quote, melt my face off.
I don't have
Sorry.
one.
Okay, fine. We could do rapid fire.
Okay. If you could invite anyone to dinner, dead or alive, who would it be?
John Mayer.
Oh. What has been the highlight of your life?
Doing so much with my mom.
Aww. What advice would you give to your younger self?
Be more gentle to yourself.
Yes, you need to be more gentle even now.
Yeah.
Okay, what makes you feel pure joy?
Cooking for 3 friends at home, buying 2 nice bottles of wine, bringing them over, having dinner, and then chatting for 2-3 hours about life. Minnie, okay. I need the people to know. I just gave the sweetest answer, I think, the whole interview, and Minnie threw up. So
I wonder if you could hear her like
if there was ever
hacking in the mic.
if there was ever a representation of shut the fuck up, this one is it. I've never felt more rejected. Also, she's in what seems to be angel lingerie.
I can't breathe. Okay.
Thank you, Minnie. I'll shut up now.
What's the most challenging decision you've ever made? I feel like you've kind of talked about this.
A breakup.
Mm.
Yeah.
I did not expect that answer.
Me neither.
Do you care to elaborate?
No. I shouldn't have broken up when I did.
You shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Oh, dagger to the soul.
Should we do part 2? Personal life only?
Yes, actually, can we please? What is your pet peeve or like an ick?
Oh my God. Where do I begin? One, all my close friends will know I hate when people are late.
Okay.
I absolutely hate it. I think it's the most disrespectful thing to the other person.
I actually did know this about you.
Yeah, so I really dislike being tardy. I don't like when you're in line.
I said one. He's like, let me pull out.
I just need to do one more
Okay.
because this one's like actual. When you're in line to order something or check out at Zara or whatever it is, you are waiting at the place that they tell you to wait, where the bars are, and then the person finishes their transaction and they leave.
Yeah.
That is not cue for you to go up to the front. You must wait for the person to summon you and say, "Hey, I'm ready for you." But I really don't like when people just go up to the front and they're like, "Oh, like,
Oh my God, I feel
want-
personally attacked.
I want my burrito." Like, bro,
I
chill.
feel like I've definitely done that.
You could wait the 10 seconds before.
Now I'm never going to do that ever again.
Well, if you do it, it's fine.
No, but I see what you mean. They're
It's-
not ready for you yet.
Yeah.
And you're barging in.
Yeah. Don't barge in.
I feel so bad now.
Sorry.
Okay. Who is your... Oh, wait. Actually, I know this. Who is your favorite music artist of all time? Is it John Mayer?
It is John Mayer, followed closely by the 1975. Which I know is a very like girly,
No,
you know,
I love the
teenage emo
1975.
thing, but-
What about as of late?
ooh, old music. Bread, the Beatles, Quincy Jones.
Interesting.
I cried listening to a Quincy Jones song recently. Yeah.
Who is your celebrity crush? Is the list long for this one too?
I have 3 hall passes: Jenny Ruby Jane,
Okay.
Peggy Goo,
Oh.
Dua Lipa.
Oh, Dua Lipa, I understand.
So intelligent.
Dua Lipa is literally
So smart and well spoken.
so gorgeous. Okay. If you could master any skill overnight, what would it be?
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Brazilian.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Have you done it before?
I have.
And?
Horrible.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a hobby you pursue this year.
It takes too much thinking. That's why I'm bad at pottery.
Pottery takes a lot of thinking.
Like focus.
Do you have ADD?
I think so.
I think I do too.
Undiagnosed.
What's your dream vacation destination?
Ooh. The coast of France. I want to ride a small vehicle just down the coast of France.
That sounds
and,
lovely.
Eat bread and butter. Yeah. That would be really nice. With Peggy Goo.
With Peggy. Let me think. Is there more? Is there another question I wanted to ask? I want to ask everything.
Any from the audience? Will
Monty, do you have a question you want to ask?
She's like, no. I am so disinterested in this man.
No, you asked him. I wanted to know what was the worst burger you made, and it was the meatball.
Wait, so she's like, I wanted to know what was your failure?
My failure?
No.
Oh, the bad burger.
Oh, worst. Actually, never mind.
No, ask.
I was
What?
gonna say like worst customer experience.
Ooh.
Oh, wait, actually, I want to know this. Give us the
I
tea.
don't know if you want to.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't interact with the customers much, but I mean, there are people who like get upset that, you know, the burger's taking a little long. And it's like, I want to ask them, like, do you want to come to the pack and try to make all these burgers in what you think is a reasonable time? And then you can tell me whether I am just lazy. Because, like, what's the implication that I'm lazy or not working hard enough? I'm literally sweating.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm trying my very best to make this burger. But, I mean, to their point, like, it shouldn't take so long.
I think it's just hanger.
Hanger.
I think it's like unreasonable hanger.
That's another one of my pet peeves, hanger.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't like when people get hangry.
I feel like you have a lot.
I have a lot of pet peeves.
And I kind of want to go through all of them, but maybe we do that off camera.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm really glad we spent so much time talking about softies because I feel like a lot of people who want to start a business or think about it, like you said, they're in the thinking process.
Yeah.
And something I really wanted to do with the podcast was like share people's journey, even in the business side. Like I have Sharon coming on too, and just like how hard it is and how challenging it is, but
She's
how
a beast.
yeah, but also how rewarding it is, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it encourages people to really go for it and try. Because for you too, you didn't expect it to be what it is. And I think there is a certain magic in that.
Yeah.
So I'm really, really excited. And
Thank
I
you.
can't wait for the restaurant to open, which you said around. Wait, can you tell?
Yeah. If things go well, June, July, we'll have our little soft opening and then hopefully a grand sometime in August.
Oh my God, that's so exciting. That's huge, honestly.
Honestly, yeah, it's huge.
It's huge. And you're so cool, and you should be so proud. Say it to the camera again.
Was it chest up?
Chest out. Chest out.
Chest out, shoulders back?
Yeah.
I feel like
Say it with your chest.
I feel like a scarecrow. I am was it
So cool.
so cool?
And I'm so proud of myself.
And I am so proud of myself.
On that note,
Thank you, Debbie.
thank you, Josh, so much for coming on. Will you
I
come on
appreciate
again?
it. No. No, okay, to be sincere again, that you find me as someone who has anything mildly interesting to say is very flattering. Thank you for carving out a couple hours of your day.
Thank
to talk
you.
to
I
me.
know tomorrow is a big, busy day for you.
No,
but also,
good.
this is the longest podcast episode so far.
That's an honor.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm a very busy man, so I gotta go.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's wrap this up.
I need a.
All right. See you next time.
Bye. Thank you.